everybody! Welcome in. It's January 1st, and we are so excited to kick off the new year with something special here at the Hive Collective. Starting today, we're launching a weekly video tutorial series to help builders like you and myself grow and learn. We've decided for the future of our rooms, we want to make the transition to Rooms 2.0. And if you're familiar with 2.0, then you know it comes with a little bit of a learning curve, especially when it comes to learning circuits. And that challenge is exactly what inspired us to create this series called Let's Learn Together. So, as we figure out new skills and add them to our rooms, we're going to share the process so you can learn right along with us. And in case we haven't met yet, I'm Katie. I'm one of the lead builders here at the Hive Collective, and that cozy human fishing over there is Snowfall, the owner and fearless leader. And together, we want to teach you guys how to set up lots of different things. Today, specifically, we want to focus on fly permissions for staff in Rooms 2.0. It's a super useful tool, and hopefully by the end of this tutorial, you'll be able to implement it into your own rooms. I'm not sure if you're aware, but when you're doing something like Fly, it used to be role based in the regular rooms, but when you go into Rooms 2.0, roles don't actually exist anymore. So we set up tag systems, and that's what I'm going to hopefully teach you today. I hope you enjoy it. So let's get started and let's make some magic happen. Okay, so the easiest way to do this is actually split it into three different sections. It just makes explaining the CV2 a little bit easier. The first thing that we have to do is set up a 15 hertz system. All it really is going to do is reduce stress on the room. And then the second thing that we need to do is set up the tags. And we want to set it up in a way that they get assigned to either the room owner or the contributor. And then the third and last part that we're going to set up is if you have that tag, that you're actually going to get fly, which I'm going to explain this in a little bit more detail when we're setting it up. I just wanted to give you a rundown of the CV2 that we were going to do today. So let's get started. Okie dokie, everybody. So let's start out by setting up our 15 hertz system. The first thing we're going to want to do is pull out our maker pen, and then I think it's going to be better if we bring in all the chips at one time and then wire them up after. It might just make things a little bit easier. Hopefully you like it that way. Let's go ahead. We're going to go to your palette, and the first chip that we're going to look up is called a delay chip. We're going to go ahead. We're going to grab that. You can put it anywhere. I'm just going to click right here. One thing I'm going to recommend, if you go into your tools and you're on create, over on the right side here, you get your tool settings. If you go to the one that says circuits and debugging and you click this little drop down arrow, scroll down, and where it says always snap circuits, let's go ahead. We're going to click that on. It's just going to help you keep things a little bit more clean and organized as we're doing this. So with all that set up, let's go back to palette, and we're going to grab 3 more chips. So up on this top bar here, let's get rid of delay, and we're going to type in event. So we're going to need an event receiver, which we're going to put on the left side. We're going to need an event sender, which we're going to put on the right side. And then we're also going to need the event definition, which we're going to put up here on the top. Now, one thing I will recommend, because of space and keeping things organized, is that we take this event definition and just move it up a tiny bit, because once we edit it, it's going to change a little bit. So let's go ahead, let's click on configure. If anything connected for you automatically, just ignore that for now because we can fix that later as well. We're going to click on event receiver, and we're going to click on this drop down. We're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom and click on the 30 hertz. Now, once we've clicked on that, we can go out and we're going to click on the event definition. Again, as long as you're set to configure on your tools, you're going to get this menu, and then you can go ahead and then you can do some changes. Which the first change we're going to do is take this right here, the chip name. We're going to give it a new name called update 15 hertz. Hit submit, and then under property, we're going to go to the type. We're going to click on float, and we're going to call this delta time. Then if you scroll down a tiny little bit, we're going to click on the add property. When you go out, you'll see the name, and delta time is there. And then what we want to do is we want to go over to the event sender, again with configure set on our maker pen. We're going to click on this drop down. We're going to go to 15 hertz. You probably won't see any of these other ones because I have other CV2 in this room, so just ignore that and make sure you click on 15 hertz, which is what we just had created. Perfect. So take a moment if you need to pause right here, right now, and grab all these chips. Fantastic. If you're ready to continue, you can unpause, and what we're going to do now is we're going to start wiring stuff up. So now if you go into your tools and you go to connect, we're going to go ahead, let's disconnect this. To do that, you just simply click on the square while you're in the connect mode, and we're actually going to take this event receiver and we're going to go to run. And then after the delay, we would like to go to cancel. And then from cancel, we're going to go right up into this one right here. Now, one thing that I did forget to do while we were in configure was set the delay. So what we need to do now is go back to configure, click on this little blue square, and for the value, we're going to type 0.0333. Whoop, there we go. That's better. Perfect. And then what we'll do is we will go back to our tools. We're going to hit connect. We're going to take this delta time, run it all the way over to this delta time, and then as long as you see that that number is changing, you know things are wired up and we're good to go. So now we get to move on to step 2 because our 15 Hertz system is officially set up. Okay, so we're going on to step 2, which is setting up the tag system for Fly. There's a few extra chips in this one, but don't worry, we're going to get through it just fine. So again, with your maker pen out, we're going to add in all the chips first, and then we'll do the wiring after in the configuring. So let's go ahead and let's go to the palette. And if you don't have event typed up here, you'll want to type it again. If you do, we're going to need an event receiver. On this one, we're actually going to need 2 event receivers. It's a little bit different than last time. Then we're also going to have to get what's called a player get is room. Now we need 2 for this. We're going to need the owner and the contributor. So let's start by clicking on owner and we'll just put it underneath here. And then let's grab the contributor and we'll put it underneath there. Perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab an if chip. These guys are very handy. We use them a lot. And we're just going to put it on this side here. And then we're going to need another one beside there. Again, if things auto-connect, don't worry about that because we can fix it later. We are going to need an OR chip, which we're going to put underneath here. And then we're going to have an has tag, which I'm going to put just under here. And then we're going to do add tag, which is going to go just on this left side there. And lastly, we need a get local layer, which we'll just kind of put maybe up on this top section there. Perfect. Okay, so now let's go into our tools. Let's go to configure. And I guess the first thing we can do is the tags. So if you click on this little purple box, we're going to type in fly. And we'll click on this little purple box. Again, we're going to type fly because that's what we're giving our owner and contributor. And then we're going to click on the event receiver. Instead of searching for it, you can just type join and we're going to do player joined. And then this one, we're going to do room reset. Perfect. And I think that was everything that we had to configure. Yes, okay. So then let's go into our tools. Let's click on connect. And then we're basically, this is actually right. We want this event receiver to go to this if. We also want this one to go to the if. Because that way, if a player joins or a room reset event happens, the whole thing is going to begin. And then what we want to do is this player get is room owner, player get is room contributor. So we're going to connect it to the OR chip because we want to say if they are an owner or a contributor, then they're going to be applied to the condition. And then, so what is it that they're supposed to be able to do? Well, we're going to take this then, and we're going to run it over to this if. And what we want to do is we want to take this has tag and run it up to the condition. So that way, It's going to check to see if they have the tag fly. And then in the event that they do not have fly, we want to give it to them. Now it auto clicked on the then. We're actually going to disconnect that because we want the else to go up to the add tag. Perfect. And then the only other thing that we need to do is right now for it to find a local player, it's going to be a little confused. Like you'll see not connected. It's a little bit confused. So we want to take this get local player, which is moi, and we're going to add this to the target. And we're also going to take it down and add it to this one here. Perfect. So again, the way that this is going to read is that if a player joins or a room reset happens, if that happens, um, the room owner or the contributor is going to check to see if they have the tag fly. And then if they don't, we're going to add the tag fly. I hope that makes sense. Let's take a moment. I'll just pause. You can take a screenshot or pause your movie, and now you can set up all these chips. And then when you're ready, you can unpause and we'll continue, which coincidentally is going to be right now on to part 3. Okie dokie, so we're on to part 3. We did our first part where we set up our 15 hertz system. And then we did our second part where we set up our tags and that they would get attached to either the owner or the room contributor. And then we go over to part 3 where we're actually going to make it so the fly is attached to the tag, or I should say the person with the tag. So let's go ahead and pull out our maker pen if you don't already have it out. And we're going to go into our palette and we're going to start searching for some of the circuits that we need, starting with the event receiver. And you can kind of just put it out wherever you need to. And then we're going to grab a get local player, and it can just go right underneath. And then we need an if. We actually need two, 1 and 2. We need a has tag. Has tag, it didn't click. Player can get fly. Wait, no, that's not right. Player get can fly. And we'll put that there. And then player set can fly. Okay, perfect. And we'll just put that one right there. And then some of your chips might be a little bit close together, so to make it a little bit easier to read them, you might just want to move them over a tiny bit. And if some of them did the auto connect thing, again, don't worry about it because we can fix that later too. So let's go into configure and we'll start with our event receiver, and we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom of the list and we're going to click on the update 15 hertz, which is the one that we made at the beginning, just so that way the stress on the room would be a little bit less. And then we're going to go over to the tag, make sure we click on that purple square, type in fly. And it's really important that this fly matches the other flies, and it is case sensitive. So just make sure if you have capitals, you keep the capitals. If you have lowercase, keep lowercase. It just all has to match in the end. Okay, perfect. So now let's go into our connect. And we can disconnect these guys that shouldn't have been connected, and we'll just start at the beginning. So the event receiver has to go to the if chip, so that way everything gets started. And then we want to make sure that this local player is going down to the target. And then we want to have the has tag going up to the condition, because that way it's looking to see if they have the tag fly. And then in the event that they have the tag fly, so we're going to connect to this if here, it's going to see if they actually can fly or not. So like the tag is one thing and then the ability to actually fly is another. So this chip is going to check to see if they are actually able to fly. And then basically if they're not able to fly, we want to send it up to this chip, because what that's going to do is it's going to make it so they can fly. So we're going to take this little else here and then we're going to go up to this. And again, so the way that's going to read is that the event receiver will trigger, and then if they have the tag fly, then it's going to check to see if they're actually able to fly or not. And in the event that they cannot fly, it's going to then give them fly. And yeah, that's basically how that works. The other thing that you have to make sure of, again, while you're still on Connect, this end one here, to switch that to true because we want to give them the fly. We want that to be true, that they can have it. So once you have all your chips set up and ready to go, you're just going to want to save your room and then rejoin, and everything will be ready to go and you'll be flying. I hope that this was a great tutorial for you and you enjoyed it, and thank you for your support, and we look forward to next week. Have a good one. Bye.